This is at the grand finale of Layton Miracle Mask.
I can't introduce the finale of my own game.
Oh, come on, Layton. You've introduced every other part. With Montador's destruction imminent, the only hope rests in the Acabadane ruins. Will Layton be able to solve the final puzzle of Acabadane and save Montador from the rising stand?
Of course I am.
Yes, the most famous British sand.
Yeah.
All right, since
Angela, good old desert in the land of Britain, which is known for its hot
British sand
climates.
is the worst sand of it all.
All right, let's hurry because Angela's getting antsy for some reason.
Hi, over here.
Luke, that's just a manhole cover. Oh, wait, look at this pattern.
Yes. Open it up.
Yay, the final level is a sewer level.
Don't worry, Theo. Remember, fortunately, since this is a puzzle game, we don't have to deal with levels
Puzzle
themselves.
1, 3, 4, breaking the seal.
Each
of these stone slabs has 2 arrows on it. To open the manhole, you must fill the board with slabs that all 4 rows, all 4 columns, and both diagonals contain one of each direction of arrow. Some of the slabs are already firmly fixed in place, but you can freely rotate the rest. Are you up to the task?
I guess.
Unfortunately, I couldn't do that all in one breath.
Okay, so
It's okay, Layton. You'll have help in the next game we commentate on.
Okay. Oh, great. The Tomorrowland of video games. That's going to be such a joy.
Alright, so basically, let's just take, thinking.
I'll elaborate on that more when we...
Basically, like the text said, all 4 columns and diagonals can only contain one of each direction of arrow. So obviously we have to put the pieces in a very specific place. So thinking.
Interesting.
Let's see.
Basically, it's a good job I'm not doing the series, otherwise I keep having to refer... When I did these kind of puzzles on the crossover, I kept having to refer to the to internet walkthroughs because I didn't have a clue what to do on these.
I only had to do that with one puzzle, and that's the one where you had to rearrange how a glass of wine moves across a table, trajectory after trajectory.
I do it for almost all the puzzles because I suck.
Other than that, they're pretty easy. But yeah, don't worry, Dibs. Anyone who plays Mass Effect will get what you mean concerning the crossover being
And not everyone's a puzzle person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, as you guys already know, I'm a lover of puzzle games, so obviously this is just up my alley. Basically, when Level 5 first announced that their first IP was going to be a puzzle, a game with a story, immediately I was intrigued because I'm a lover of puzzle games, and a puzzle game with a story, now that's awesome, and I love Level 5, so...
it was completely different from what they have been done up until that point.
Yeah.
So you were a fan of Level 5 from the beginning, I see.
Yeah, since Dark Cloud. Anyway, but don't you see, Teo, it's not Dark Cloud free, therefore it sucks.
Of course.
From my experience, Level 5 is definitely one of the best. They can occasionally make a few boneheaded decisions, but in the sequels, they often rectify those.
It's at least better than some certain other developers I could mention, which the games get worse and worse, like a certain...
even then, just because another developer does it worse, doesn't excuse the main, the first one from doing it badly in the first place.
Well, of course.
Well, like Joe was
that's not to say
generally rectify the mistakes.
That's not to say that Curious Village is a bad game. Far from it. It's a perfectly fine and it's a very good game for what it's trying to do. It's just, I mean, it's kind of like the first Spyro. There's nothing particularly wrong with the first Spyro. It's just that the games that come after it, are the other two. I'm talking about the Insomniac trilogy, obviously.
Correct. What's beneath that manhole?
Oh, go ahead.
All right, let's go.
But what are you planning to do without the Mask of Chaos, Herschel?
I'll just stop the other mask off that guy, and then smash the mask to oblivion.
It's not that easy, Layton.
Let's blow it up.
Yeah. I have it right here, but of course...
Say what?
But of course, this is Professor Layton. The simplest solution doesn't exist.
What? How?
That's because the simplest solution may not be as simple as you think.
I found it at the reunion inn, of course. The true Mask of Chaos, hidden in the archives, just as you had left it.
Let's just say that you're getting some foreshadowing for something right now.
I beg your pardon.
I beg your pardon.
Wait, so we found the mask all along.
You'll see, Dwebs. You'll see. Let's just say Layton's going somewhere with this. Anyway.
The other ones.
time to hit the mask, Professor.
I'll explain later. We need to act fast if we are to save the town.
Always with the questions, boy. Won't you put a lid on it for a moment?
But what are you planning to do?
Blow it up.
Going back to what Pedro's saying about improvements,
Yes, even if we have the Mask of Chaos, we still need the Mask of Order, don't we?
Yeah, there's nothing particularly wrong with Curious Village. It's just that the sequels perfected the gameplay much better. That sort of thing.
I know exactly.
I mean, heck, for another example, one of the games that we're currently commentating on, Fossil Fighters. Looking back at it, even I admit that Fossil Fighters is by no means a bad game, but the sequel really did a lot of things better, pacing-wise, graphics-wise, to a major thing, and character-wise. It's definitely a good game and a pioneer, but that doesn't excuse its arcadeness.
Are we in Uncharted 2? This is the final chamber of Akbardine, the one that Randall and I never found on our
But please, where are the endless orders of generic mercenary mooks with no personality whatsoever?
I don't think it's that bad. And to solve this room's puzzle, we need both masks.
I see where Teo's coming from.
I know. Unfortunately, we can't just make one because even my bullshit inventing skills can't go that far.
Didn't you say you knew where to find the Mask of Order?
But then again, I'm the guy who could build a working plane in 30 seconds using tools from a shed.
Yes, of course.
Indeed, I will show you. Professor Layton, a series that, for all its smarts, has occasions where you have to switch off. You have to pretend your brain doesn't exist.
We know.
How many more times we
have to listen to you complain about that? Seriously, we get it.
Honestly, dudes, even when he does do the honestly, Layton, even when you do the inventions thing, to be fair, the helicopter didn't even last that long. I'd say you're just a little bit less logical than MacGyver.
If only we had actual petroleum. With that, we can unlock the secret of Akbardine and save Monte.
Does it look like in Final Fantasy VIII where the city starts floating or something?
No, don't worry, don't worry, Teo. Don't worry, Teo. It's handled a little better than Final Fantasy fucking VIII.
You're the Mask of Order. You assume that Henry found the Mask of Order with the treasure that he'd been hiding it all along.
Just to give you an idea, Jova, in Final Fantasy VIII, we actually have the door of the fucking Truman Show for some reason.
Assumptions are dangerous fakes. Consider the message again.
I'll say.
It is always the two halves that make the whole.
You have to split the mask into two?
Bingo! Good one, Teo.
Shiri?
Dun 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 dun.
She's coughing.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, my theme's playing. Yay!
And your face is back to normal now.
There you go. The mask
Look,
of
thank you
the mask of chaos and the mask of order complement each other, literally.
Thank you for removing those acorns from my mouth.
So obviously, the one Randall had was the fake one. Anyway.
The mask of order has been right here all this time.
What?
Bingo.
Okay. You had the solution there all along.
Oh come on, Dwibs.
Well, he wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have known this straight away.
He only figured it out in the chapter before this. Dwibs, come on. Sure.
It was so simple all along.
You know, the start of this theme just playing now, it reminded me of the start of Final Fantasy X's music.
Yeah. It's interesting to say that to us because in Azure Legacy, there's a particular town theme that reminds me a lot of the village of Dali from Final Fantasy IX.
Yes, Herschel, of course.
In fact, there's been a couple of Pokemon tracks recently that kind of remind me of Layton a little bit. Not entirely, but...
is that in X and Y?
No, actually in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Ah, okay.
4 mysterious pillars have risen up. The ruins' mechanism will activate when the arrows on each pillar point to the center. However, the pillars will only turn if Layton and Angela step on opposing buttons at the same time. When you have Layton press a button, Angela will press the one opposite. Also keep in mind that they won't be able to press the same buttons twice in a row. Work together to save the city, and I'll be completely honest, these are the
So yeah, obviously, once again, the developers made a brilliant decision to have one puzzle where Angela has her own puzzle animations, so we can hear a little bit more of Laura Bailey's beautiful voice. So another brilliant decision on part of level 5 here.
Excuse me,
Glibs,
Mr.
Glibs, you're right too. I get the feeling that there may be a bit of bias towards Laura Bailey within our ranks. Don't quote me on that.
I don't know what it is, but I get it too.
Mr. Wright.
Eh?
Mr. Wright.
What? What
does,
am I doing here all of a sudden? But okay.
I need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does Mr. Duarte say this obsessed?
What are you talking about?
Let me take a look at his
I am in no
records.
way obsessed. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see. Scrapbook of Laura Bailey's roles. Checkbook
Actually, I
of
don't
Laura
want to know. I
Bailey.
don't want to know.
Disappear.
Short answer, yes.
Okay.
Correct. You have solved the riddle of the heart of Akbadane. But will it be enough to save the city? Of course it will.
Alright. And now... from this point on, it's all voice acting, so you can just pay attention.
What do you mean I'm fired?
There you go. So basically the ruins are gonna get back to their original form as they were all those years ago, and they're gonna rise up, and the town will go up with it. So
it's not floating, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
This reminds me of Power Rangers Wild Force. You know, the floating island.
I don't think I've seen Wild Force, so I can't speak for that.
I think a better example would be it's more like Night Palace.
I discovered it. While you were busy seeking revenge.
You should have your priorities straight, you moron.
So, sword duel?
Oh, that's right, I forgot. Dwebs, one thing I wanted to say to you. Usually when there's an earthquake, there can be an aftershock. Allow me to send you this thing. Because you're going to need it, because I know you're going to ask questions later
Mask
about
of Order
this.
and the Mask of Chaos are in fact two halves of the same artifact, which can be separated at will. Far from counteracting each other, they gain power only when used together.
The masks were never two separate entities, but one and the same. They belonged together from the start.
There you go, Dwebs, in case you need it later. Don't worry, you'll know what I mean when we get there.
Don't worry, I was good at earthquakes and stuff like that when I was in school.
Ah, okay then.
I know what you mean by
I'm just saying because there's one particular thing that might, in case people don't know, but just in case, you know how it is. Epilogue.
The City of Miracles.
So yeah, it's time to find out exactly why the town is called the City of Miracles.
The City of Miracles, where everyone's E3 dreams can come true.
You still there, Shiori?
Go on, Professor.
Okay.
You should talk to Randall.
Oh yeah, it's right after I press yes. That from now on it's always acting. Okay.
Can I gloat to Randall?
No.
So
inwardly, yes.
I have much to say to him.
Outwardly, though, no. Be nice.
So traditional final Layton sword duel.
No, sorry, Teo. That we'll have to wait for Azrael Legacy for that.
Okay.
No swords. Okay. I have to talk to Randall and tell him the truth.
Well, Teo, we already had that with the mummies, though.
No, don't worry. I will just ask you.
At this point, you'll be unable to save. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
What was that? What happened?
I followed your plan, Randall.
Amazing.
Amazing.
This is the true treasure of the Osram.
About that, Layton.
We're not at that game yet. We're not at that game yet, Choba.
I'll just let him figure out for himself.
Lay elsewhere all along.
Oh, Layton, if you only knew.
You solved the puzzle of Akbadine.
I thought it was. Is it Akbadane or Akbadine?
Akbadine. Actually, it's always been Akbadine. You are the one who's always been pronouncing it Akbadine for some reason.
But nobody corrected us.
Layton said Akbadane.
It's one of those pronunciations that has two pronunciations, like Vase and Voss.
What a puzzle of Randall's revenge.
Anyway.
Your skill has magnified my own faults, even in
I see the error of my own ways.
Yes.
Nonsense.
Are the police standing by?
Nonsense! You nearly drowned an entire city of people in sand.
Well, let's just say there's someone behind.
Stay away from me! You stole everything from me.
You don't understand.
You still don't see? Henry took nothing from you, Randall. You were used.
Yeah.
He was used, alright.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what is he talking
Everything
about?
you were told in those letters was a lie.
True, yeah.
You were lied to all along.
Alright, Teo, it's time for you.
Okay.
Alright, Teo, time for you to pat yourself on the back.
Someone behind the masked
Okay.
gentleman.
Well, I can guess who's behind,
Right.
but
Randall here was merely a puppet. There was
It's-
someone behind the mask.
He's choking his stash.
And that person?
And that person is you.
what?
It was
Yeah.
Lord Bailey all along.
I wish I could say it's been a pleasure. Descole.
Good job, Teo.
What?
Your first
Wait, what?
Fucking shitting me!
Well played.
surprise.
Wow,
Teo actually called this one. I
On
noticed.
his first try.
There was no.
I
No,
guess
don't you remember,
the
don't
master
you
of disguise.
don't you remember, Shiro, that one moment we had with Angela where she suddenly didn't have the necklace that Randall gave her, and then she was treating the Randall as just any old thing? That was your hint to that, because
Not
there's
that
no way Angela would treat the Randall
I asked her
Randall's necklace the way she did in that scene we saw.
Descole's little game.
So yeah, in reality, Angela was actually wearing the costume fashioned after Mordaunt.
Yeah.
That's right. In reality, Angela was actually Mordaunt all along. That's why Mordaunt was acting so loyal to
Very good.
Henry.
I knew I never should have used
So yeah, in reality, Desclay was dressed as a girl while Angela was dressed as a man.
Basically, the plan all along is that Descole was the one doing all of these things. Randall was just the theatrics part. He never actually did anything. He was just
But
there.
how did you knew where to find Randall and knew about everything about him?
He
We'll
invested.
figure that out in a later episode.
Yeah. But it's just in Astronaut Legacy, they explain this. They explain everything about Descole.
Remember
Okay.
the extras.
Oh, that and the extras. Yeah, there's also the extras. Yeah, sure.
Randall of being the masked gentleman all along. That
Yep.
was why she wrote me the letter.
There we go.
She was
Basically, by the time the game we first met Angela, it was the real Angela. But starting with like chapter 3, if I remember correctly, Phenomenon was Descole, and Angela was trapped at the reunion inn.
Go on.
And then at some point later, Layton got her out and had her dressed up as Mordaunt.
I would do if I discovered that Randall was the masked gentleman.
And by the way, I love Descole's theme played by the Layton Grand Caravan Orchestra. So awesome.
Her unease had disappeared,
Yeah.
and from that moment, I began to suspect.
You'll notice that the mystery menu too.
Perhaps I was
They also pointed that out, that Angela was acting weird. So that was also your hint.
Mask of order to solve the riddle of Akbadar.
Don't worry, I mean, yeah, good call on that, Tio.
Yeah, good
Well, I
one too.
suspected that, but for the wrong reason. I thought Descole was just blackmailing Henry to have him in his hand and gaining the mask for himself.
Well, it was kind of that actually. He basically the reason he dressed as Angela was to get close to Henry to see if he could convince him to tell him where the Mask of Order was.
the powers of the masked gentleman. Well then, surely he would procure
Except Henry never knew anything, so obviously Descole was barking up the wrong tree.
But when he did not, you grew tired of waiting.
Yes, you became impatient. And villains becoming impatient is always their downfall.
But Henry still wouldn't reveal.
Let's
I
just say,
cannot believe it. Level 5 did that
He
again.
couldn't.
did what again too?
Mask of order.
I mean, having, the shapeshifter, I'm assuming...
That's a typical thing in Layton.
No, assuming the appearance of a girl and fooling everyone. Player.
See, the thing is, God, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, even better is like, well, just like in Pandora's Box, this is the second game of this particular trilogy.
Yeah.
until
Next time, where you will finally find out who I am.
We even get to see what he looks like underneath that mask.
Yep.
I'm your twin brother.
Okay, so new mystery.
There we go.
Let's click on it. At some point, Angela
At
was
some
repla-
point,
Go ahead.
Angela was replaced by Desclay in disguise, taking over her identity almost seamlessly. He helped to obtain Henry. He helped to manipulate Henry into revealing the Mask of Order.
Descole was clever, but he failed to understand the real nature of Henry and Angela's relationship.
Which we are about to figure out right now, actually.
If only he'd taken them thingy classes.
misusing me.
Did she really drop or something?
I feel like such a fool.
She hasn't really had much to say lately.
I can hardly believe it. I've been waiting so long.
I'm guessing she's probably
I
saving her
can't
voice for when
believe
she
you
needs
never
to
waited
speak.
for me. You married Traitors! After everything I've done for you, Henry, you betray me like this?
How could you love me?
That wasn't enough.
You couldn't be more wrong, Randall.
You couldn't be more wrong, Randall. Henry has been preparing for the day you would return home.
Yep.
Hold on. Let them explain it.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying, yep.
Randall, you should know the truth about Monte d'Or.
Remember,
It was built just to fight that one.
Wait for it, Dwebs.
Remember when we went to see the bill for the property of Monte d'Or at the mayor's thing?
Randall, when you disappeared, we didn't know if you'd ever return. We were destroyed, all of us.
Because a drop
Your
like that
parents
was
took
bound
it
to indicate.
especially hard, of course. Their businesses failed, and the Ascot house fell into disrepair. All that time, Henry risked his life as he searched for you down in those ruins, but to no avail. In a strange twist of fate, he found the Azran treasure you were searching for all those years ago.
Right.
Henry supported your parents with his newfound wealth, but he could not truly replace what they had lost. So he did what he could. He worked hard to build Monte d'Or, and he cared for your parents as if they were his own.
Built an entire city just to house 2 people.
Henry, is this true?
No. You'll see it, Webs. Hold on, I'm going to explain.
It is, Randall. Henry never stopped searching for you. He always believed that you would return someday. He spent a fortune sending search parties down into those awful ruins. He built the Reunion Inn so that they would have a base near the ruins.
The Reunion Inn?
Get it? Reunion?
Yep.
I believe that was the first building established here in Monte d'Or.
But what about Dalston then?
Hold
Was
on.
it just to have some competition
You'll see
and not
it,
have
Leo.
monopoly?
No, Dalston was just competitive. He had nothing to do with this.
If you ask
And
me,
yes, she already dropped.
but not one without a
Well,
rational
I'll try another
explanation
back in.
behind it.
And what was that?
Henry announced several rewards for anyone who could find the man named Randall.
But never gave a last name.
These rewards were so large that word spread
And the last cut,
and
Webs.
the Union Inn became a popular haunt.
There you go.
From there, the town prospered. Hotels and shops cropped up everywhere. A thriving city bloomed here in the desert.
And it's all
Monte
thanks to
d'Or
you.
became the city we know today.
So basically, Monte d'Or was built around the idea of his return.
One
Yep.
might say that Monte d'Or is built around the idea of your return.
And that's how Monte d'Or came to be in such a
You
short
kinda went
time.
ahead of him there.
That's so insane, I'm actually inclined to believe
That
that.
is the true
Yeah.
reason behind the city of
You know,
Monte
that's one of the reasons why I
Well,
particularly
technically,
love this Layton game.
well,
It's definitely got one of the
well,
more
technically,
technically,
Teo, this is plausible enough.
Henry had stolen your family.
I know. I think Teo's saying it's like, well, he actually does believe it because it's that crazy.
What I love about this is the theme of dedication. Like the whole town building thing is, of course, supposed to be a plot device for the actual dedication Henry has to. Oh, there you go. And there you go. The real Angela actually had the necklace all along.
Is that mine?
Randall, my marriage to Henry wasn't real.
What?
There you go. Hold on, Webs.
Surprise!
After I lost you, Randall, I didn't know how to go on. My parents kept pressing me to get married. They wanted
Oh,
me to marry the
those
richest man in
kind of
town,
parents.
Oh yeah.
Alphonse Dalston.
What?
Who?
Yes, Troy Baker.
Yes, Teo. They wanted to ship Laura Bale into
marry
Troy Baker. Yes, they did.
So of all the games to do that as well from level 5.
Will you wait
Okay.
for Master Randall?
Of course. It's like when I got to this plot point, Pedro, I just said, okay, it's just destiny at this point.
Yep.
Especially considering Bioshock Infinite.
So yeah, basically Henry asked Angela to wait for Randall for
Henry
him.
vowed that he would protect and preserve everything of yours.
So pretty much the marriage was just a,
Cover.
shall we say, yeah.
Basically, he was sustaining Angela until that day. Basically, there you go. Hold on. And there's the mom.
can it be?
These,
Wah! Mother!
Yeah.
Where's your nose?
Yeah, these models are not...
Don't worry, Dwiz. That's what doesn't hold up.
Like to see, they'll be taken care of. In fact, the crossover does it better too.
Yeah.
I never played the crossover.
Oh, the Asgard Legacy models look even better than in the crossover. Anyway.
Well, yeah, of course, because Azrain came out after.
In Japan, anyway.
I understand. Oh, Mother. I thought I'd never see you again.
You need to get a haircut, though, son.
Hey, I'm the old lady guy here.
Is yours.
Yeah, too bad
Except for Yokai Watch 2.
Yeah, too bad you're going in jail for attempting mass murder.
Well, Teo,
he was sort of brainwashed.
Not to mention, Teo, let's not forget he never actually did anything. It was all Descole. All he did was plangle around talking about how he's the masked gentleman and how awesome he is. He never actually did anything, technically.
Hello.
Admittedly, the whole sand thing was an
what time are you guys at?
26, so wait.
36.
Okay, Shiroy, I'll give you a condensed version of
Hold
what
on. Go, timer in first.
What time are you at?
It was the symbol of
26:40.
Okay.
Okay, I'll count you in.
Okay, and no, 26:45.
Okay.
Okay.
Henry assumed you would seek
Sure,
out
thank you.
someone claiming to have the Mask of Chaos when you came back. His assumption was correct.
Thank goodness he didn't take the mask of perfect chaos, otherwise we'd have been in quite a water of trouble.
Alright, Jova, go ahead.
Okay, and
Three,
2,
click.
Okay, Shiroy, basically, long story short, we found out that Angela was actually Descole in disguise, and that Mordok...
I've been here the whole time. It was my phone that died.
Okay, then.
Oh, okay.
I know what's going on.
Henry's beacon alive.
Okay, then.
Henry's bacon.
Beacon.
Henry's bacon.
Sorry, I'm a bit hungry.
Yeah, to be fair, either way that would work out. They certainly did pull Henry's bacon out of the fire.
You have done nothing.
You weren't yourself. And now that you are, and back here with us,
you must get your hair cut.
Okay, that's a good moral.
It's interesting you say that, Dwibs, because that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh.
Damn it, level 5.
Miracle all along.
This was the true miracle all along, indeed.
Miracle never happened.
Oh yeah, by the way, bad news.
But you're probably wondering, why would Henry go to the... Why would Henry go to such lengths to preserve everything about Randall? Exactly.
It seems that Montador owes its whole existence to the prize money Henry offered to find Randall.
Yes, I would like to know why.
That's what we're going to see now.
Kind of got bad news for you. It's like, well, for the 3DS remakes of Ace Attorney, while they did fix up some plot holes, rewriting some stuff, they also got rid of some error typos. And yes, I'm sad to say that the miracle never happened is no more in the 3DS
Henry
version.
truly believed that Randall would return and wanted nothing more than to safeguard everything that he cared for.
And here's what...
I forgot what happened to his dad again.
His dad died.
Oh shit.
There you go, this is the aftershock that I was talking about.
That's alright, I know what an aftershock is.
Oh come on, not this again.
No.
Don't worry,
we're not doing all this again.
Don't forget, Teo, we have one more person here to help us. We have...
I can't pull you up. Now
Wait.
give me your other hand.
Yeah, but this time he's not holding anything.
They're going somewhere with this.
you can let me go now, Herschel.
Hey guys, let's see
What?
if Randall truly has learned his lesson. Let's drop him.
Give me your other hand, Randall.
I can't. I've betrayed so many people.
We just explained that you hadn't.
I'll never forgive myself.
Yeah, but he still betrayed it in his own mind, too, though.
Let me go.
Hold on.
Randall, I can't.
Henry! Master Randall, after all these years, there's no way I'm letting you get away from us that easily.
Now, please
No, you
hurry
caused
up.
enough damage here. We don't need to go through
Our
this again.
friendship.
Jesus, you're heavier than I thought. What have you been eating all these years?
He doesn't look like he's
Yeah,
been
he
eating
looks very
that
skinny,
much.
honestly. Doesn't seem to weigh that much.
And now, time for backstory.
so ashamed of what I've
There's
done.
still some loose plot
And I don't
ends.
deserve your kindness or your forgiveness.
True, but
But why? Why would you do all this for me?
Because in reality, you
Master
do
Randall,
deserve it.
Do you really not know? You've always looked out for me.
That's young Master Randall's toy, not yours. You remember your place. Give that back.
yeah, I remember that robot.
Henry, I don't know what you're thinking. Is this
It was in that painting, whatever thing in that room.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
The master. With Dr. Una.
Hello. Sorry to disturb you, young Master Randall.
Why did you take Henry's toy?
Young Master Randall, I think you're mistaken. This is yours.
You didn't check the label.
This is the robot that I gave to Henry. Now then, if you'll excuse us, I have half a mind to report you to the master.
You're fired.
Master Randall, can you please forgive me for playing with your toy? Henry, it's yours now. But it's your favorite. Well, now it's your favorite.
I got a new favorite now.
Anyway, come on. We're going
I
on
got
an
the next
adventure
model.
today. Thank
Yeah.
you, Master Randall. I promise to take care of it and always treasure it. Let's find some more treasure. What do you say?
You taught me something invaluable that day,
Wow.
Master Randall.
Right.
And gave me something to treasure. You treated me not just as an equal, Randall, but also as a brother. And that has always meant more to me than any amount of riches ever could. As the years went by, it became clear to me that our friendship was my most valuable treasure.
Yeah, the power of friendship.
This is how you do a friendship-themed story.
Wow. Mr. Randall. We all knew you would return. We just didn't think you'd take so long.
Oh, I did fall 100 meters, you know.
And now you know why Harry is my favorite character in this game. The whole concept of Harry in general as a kid. I love the idea of someone who's so dedicated to the one who came to him when he had no one.
I have nothing to say, actually.
Now you see why
Hey,
I
Teo,
really
is
like
it?
this game.
What do I hear there, Teo?
Yeah.
This was a picture-perfect ending. Everything
Oh,
seems to
shut
have turned
up.
out for the best.
Well, it was! It was! Well, it was! Oh, yeah! Hold on, how about this one?
I was getting moved for a second. That's whatever.
It's level 5, expect the puns.
I was wondering that myself. The Ozron were much more advanced than I'd suspected.
Alright, here we go.
They must have left quite a legacy.
Don't worry, Emmy, we have an entire game for that after this.
Henry turned out to be an amazing person.
I know,
It took
Luke.
so long for his friend to return home, and everything he built was for Randall. It was all quite miraculous.
Yep.
The greatest achievement is
The miracle really did happen.
selfless.
What other city can claim that it was built on a foundation of loyalty and friendship?
Oh, there's New York City, Boston Town, Macy City.
No, Jova. Those are built on oil. Having oil and everything.
The City of Miracles, indeed.
And so the city... how did they manage to get the city unburied from the sand?
No, they
because of the puzzle we solved. Wait, hold on. Are you talking about, like, the ruins?
Yeah, I mean, how did they get rid of all the sand?
Well,
they built the town on top of the ruins, sort of.
No, I mean after the...
Wait, is this a MIDI version of Never Gonna Give You Up?
No, Teo, it's a Mysterious Flower, a song that was made specifically for the game.
We're the strangers to love.
It's got a nice saxophone.
Alright, and now in true Layton fashion we get some slideshow of certain other little details.
Never gonna give you up.
So yeah, after befriending Harry became basically a part of the circle.
No, it's Flowey. No.
And there you go. And while they were kids, Dalston actually stole Harry's toy.
So let's just say Dalston was definitely a frenemy of him.
And of course, Angela went telling on them. But oh well, that patched things up, obviously.
But they made up.
Yeah, with a cheese ham lettuce sandwich. Okay. It's like that House of Mouse episode.
Still better than the bentos you've seen during
Aww.
animes.
It's like that House of Mouse episode where that massive sandwich.
I have to say, at first I thought that the way it was going to go was like, well, Angela was going to stay married to Henry because, like, well, I felt that it would just feel too cliched if she ended up with.
That's a
Randall
bit of
after.
a kick in the nuts for Randall, isn't it?
But yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised.
We were never married, but I'm keeping her anyway.
that actually would have been kind of sweet.
I was afraid that the story was going to fall into the trap of like, oh, she actually has fallen in love with Henry after all these years. But actually, no. It turns out that, well, the marriage.
Henry would have never, even if Angela attempted something with Henry, Henry would have outright refused her because he would never dare to steal Angela from Henry. From Randall, sorry.
To me, that's an extra plus that Randall and Angela can finally be together again. It reminds me of a certain plot point from the Ace Attorney series that I'm hoping gets eventually tied up.
Maya and Phoenix getting together.
No!
Oh, and there you go.
No.
Tenor-Bomb found Randall. Here we
With
go.
the Mask of Chaos, actually.
It looks as fat as a pancake.
Oh, remember. Actually, Teo, remember that one is actually the fake one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'll just assure you this though. No, it is not. It has nothing to do with Phoenix and Maya.
Oh no! And of course, this poor guy is still trapped on the balloons.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say something. In most of the other Layton games, the complaints about most people have towards most Layton games regarding epilogues.
Yeah.
And the complaint that sometimes they really like to stretch out the epilogues for a really obscene length, but this game it's actually kind of by comparison to the others, it's actually pretty short.
Yeah. Like I said, Web. So as far as endgame plot twists go, this one is pretty tame compared to the others.
I think one of the reasons that it's just shorter is
lovely,
like, I think one of the reasons that it's short is like, well, we don't have like the final showdown with
Troy Baker's the first one in the credits.
Yes, indeed.
Of course, Dwebs. Troy Baker has to get top billing.
Yeah, even though
there you go, Dwebs.
We're getting the haircut.
Yeah, and Tenor-Bomb is also getting a haircut, but of course we'll never see how he looks under that because it would take away the mystique.
Yeah, the mystique of
that's a little gag.
The mystique of
and guess what? The bugs finally learn how to perform properly.
Yay!
I knew all that training off screen would help.
Yes, Luke. Now could you can you get my pets to do that?
Maybe, but
and for now on, and guess what? Henry is going back to being butler. He's perfectly happy being a butler as long as it's for Randall.
Aww.
And Layton and Randall get to compare their own discoveries now, so that's pretty cool.
What is Layton holding?
It's a rock. It's an archaeological thing to discuss with Randall, basically.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Now, if only Layton
and now, ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. Yeah, and here's a photo that Theo mentioned just a bit.
Aww.
2012.
Yes. Layton gets to reunite with one of his old figures who influenced his past. Now, if only if he could somehow reunite with his old lost love who also influenced his future.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a cliffhanger for the next game.
Epilogue.
Come to pass, and we shall see if the Azran were worth my trouble.
So yeah, basically the entire purpose of Descalade here was to try to find these particular ruins, so obviously. And
believe it or not, your Wibs, this is going to tie into the plot of the last game.
Yep. And the movie too, don't forget, Joe.
Well, yeah, the movie. Though kind of to a lesser extent.
They referenced the movie earlier.
Whoa, tanks!
What the fuck?
Tanks! Jesus. Jesus,
the
entire army.
The military.
Don't worry, Teo. Don't worry, Teo. We'll explain about this organization in the next game.
And they've even got the stereotypical
guy.
Is this not Spectre?
There you go, Targent. That's the name of this organization.
So this is our Spectre of the Layton series, then I guess.
Yeah, I'd say Targent is more like the Shinra of the Layton series.
And you disgust me with your demented words.
I love Targent. I love Targent's theme though.
Let's just say that particular man Desclay has a big grudge with.
Yes, let's just say Desclay has a big grudge against Targent for very good reasons.
And Targent's soldiers have got pretty shit aim.
Oh, not just Targent, but also against this guy in particular.
Well, yeah.
What?
Wow, you're a terrible hit, Desclay.
Yeah.
He's better at sword fighting.
Yeah.
Take off
Much better, it seems.
You cannot do this. You have no right. Au contraire, my boy. Actually, I have every right. Now, let's just have a look.
You are really...
We gotta hold suspense for the next game, so boom!
Nope.
Ninja Butler away!
Did I get the mask at least?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's of no concern. Forget him. Secure the last of the Azran ruins. Years of work. Well.
Alright, so... let's count them.
Worth it.
Salary's Garden of Healing.
1,
Yeah, the City of Harmony from the movie.
2,
And now...
the infinite vault.
Oh yeah, you're right. The
3.
movie, never mind.
Continuity!
Great legacies. And when I'm finished, the power of the Azran civilization shall be ours.
But what is the Azran legacy exactly?
and we shall
Giant
rule the
robot.
world.
To be continued in Professor Layton and the Azran legacy.
But first, we have a crossover to do.
Exactly.
Figure out in the Azran Legacy. Even though the crossover actually
Why,
takes
yes, I
place
did level 5,
chronologically
thank you.
After
Yes, we
Azran
did.
Legacy.
Yes.
Do you want
you
to-
actually did.
did.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
You
much
have reached
so.
the end of the story, but the game is far from over, as Sherlock Holmes would say. There are exactly 135 puzzles scattered throughout the story, blah, 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 blah. See if you can complete each one and unlock each mystery. You might unlock some new content in the bonus section. It's all sorts of funs awaiting you there. See
There
if you
are
have what
also
it takes to conquer some of the
365 puzzles waiting for you in DLC.
Yeah, basically, if you buy Miracle Mask now and connect to the internet, you will immediately unlock 365 puzzles.
How we got?
And we have
There's no
That's
way.
a lot of puzzles.
Probably see that in one of the parts yet to come. That's right. We still have a few more parts left for this playthrough.
Yeah, for now on, it was just say now you can save your game and blah 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 blah. Okay, so final thoughts. Once again, I love this game. I absolutely this is actually, of all the endings. This is actually one of my personal favorites because I love the idea of Henry's character. I love the idea of such a faithful butler that was so loyal to the master who gave him everything. Like not just money, friends. Because as we've seen, I mean, it seems like at the beginning he was just one of the many servants at Randall's house, and he didn't have any friends. So, but apparently Randall brought him into his circle of friends. So he gave him everything. He gave him stuff that he could never get on otherwise. So, and he was so faithful to him, and I think it's a wonderful poetic love letter to friendship. This particular story. And yeah, awesome game for me. Like, it's absolutely wonderful too.
I really liked it, honestly. It was suspenseful, and honestly, this ending actually moved me a bit. Usually with the Layton games, well, at least for my experience so far, it was just the mystery and stuff, surprise. Not so much anger because I so far I actually accepted all the plot twists and stuff like that. But this particular ending, the themes we treated, I was surprised to see a level 5 product so soon treating these themes that movie. Like, it reminded me a lot. I probably already mentioned this. It reminded me a lot of scenes in Rogue Galaxy where each character gets his own Regallum, and we see their backstory, which are really, really emotional and makes you move, and sometimes make you really sad. And this ending, wow, it's I was honestly genuinely moved.
Sure.
Wait till you play Last Spectre, Tio.
Well, Shiro, since you're tight on time, why don't you go next?
Sure. Well, yeah, the plot twist wasn't exactly as grand as the other Layton games. It was still very moving, as Tio said. My favorite endings are still that of Pandora's Box and Last Spectre, but this was still great. Sorry, one sec.
Okay, then in that case, can I go?
Sure, since you're usually quick with this, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, just go ahead. Sorry, but this was a great game.
Yeah.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah. Okay. Great game. And okay. Yeah, I actually kind of like this story. I mean, for one reason, I know Layton's known for having, very grand, extravagant plots. But if you keep doing that every single game, that's going to get, ironically,
this one was small. I think you'll agree with me that this one was small in scope, but grand in emotional value.
Yeah, so if you keep doing those kind of big plots like that, eventually, ironically, it's going to get dull after a while.
Sure.
I'm glad that this game, took a bit more of a backseat with the craziness and put up more, put forward, a more logical plot and more, put more characters at the upfront. I'm not saying the other games didn't do that, but
don't worry, Dibs. Azran Legacy will also do something akin to this. Actually, Azran Legacy, while I don't consider my favorite game, I do think that Azran Legacy is quite possibly, aside from this game, the best mixture of logic but also fantasy that the Layton series has had.
Yeah.
Well, that and the crossover until the epilogue.
Yeah, Azran Legacy, the good thing about Azran Legacy is that it manages to be grand in scope, but without going for the Pandora's Box style of fake city shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean... So I do like that this game dials back a little bit more of the silly, grand, big stuff, which is why, I was a little bit disappointed by how the crossover handled that, but I'll get to that eventually when we get to the game.
To be fair with the crossover, they handled it just as fine up until the very end. Hence why I compare the crossover to Mass Effect 3.
And that's why I compare the crossover to Tomorrowland, but we will get to that eventually. But for this game, it's rather fun. It's not in terms of plot, I don't think... Well, actually, I haven't seen all the games yet, so
Okay. Of those you've seen, which one is your favorite so far?
I have to think about that one, but
Lost Future.
I'm guessing Lost Future, right?
Actually, no. I'm going to say the second game.
Oh, Pandora's Box.
Pandora's
awesome.
Box.
Oh, so you're like Tom. And Tom64 also has Pandora's Box as his favorite.
That's ironic because Pandora's Box is actually quite possibly the most mystical out of the original trilogy.
Well, the most mystical, but it wasn't. But it didn't get into the realm of too batshit crazy for me.
All right, sure, I can see that. What do you think of Harry's character fake out? About the whole, he was sincere with his caring for Randall all the time, and
to the point where he actually held a marriage that was fake and everything.
And here's a great thing. And here's a great thing. We'll actually get a bit more of detail on that in the episodes that we're seeing.
Okay, I'll say one thing about Henry regarding that. He is the best actor ever. He was able to hide his. He was able to hide all that in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not just him, dudes. It's like, well, Dalston. I mean, Dalston's not the most fleshed out character, but he had quite a few layers to him. And the fact that, they first portray him as literally the mustache trolling villain, and yet turns out he's one of the guys you want on your side as a good guy.
Yeah, Dalston is a good guy at heart. It's just that he's kind of hardened with the way he does things.
And the police chief too. I mean, he's shown up.
Oh yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that moment. Oh, I love that moment where the police chief tells his cops that if you don't, we have to protect the city. It's our job. You will not be a good cop in my eyes if you don't stay here and protect the city like a good cop. That was a great character moment for him.
That decision he made about bringing Randall's mother.
Yeah, that too. That was great characters.
Yeah. So overall. Yeah, in terms of plot, this game's pretty good. In terms of gameplay, I can't really say because I have.
It's about I actually believe
the only Layton game I've played. Well, can you even call it a Layton game is the crossover.
Yeah, actually,
you can call it a Layton game.
Actually, it just reminded me of something. Are you done?
Yeah, good point there, Joe.
It just reminded me of something, Dubs. Are you done with your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I forgot to add to my thoughts. If you ask me, this is the best Layton game gameplay-wise. Why? Because I do believe it has a great focus on the more it doesn't focus so much on on math puzzles as some other games can. It focuses more on the more logical ones that can be solved by most people. So it's also that, and I love the gameplay variety in it, where we get some set pieces according to what's going on in the story. And of course, the Zelda-like dungeon in Chapter 6 is, if you ask me, one of the big gameplay highlights of the series. So, yeah, if you ask me, this is the best game in the series gameplay-wise. Jova, go ahead.
Yeah, even though I haven't played it, I have to say, this may be my favorite, because so far I was gonna say Lost Future. However, I felt that Lost Future didn't make a complete closure on the original trilogy, especially because then they moved to a prequel one. So, of course, technically speaking, chronologically speaking, the ending of Layton, it's a bit left there.
Actually, Theo, let's just say there's an intention going on, but I'll get to that when we get to Ashen Legacy.
But anyway, anyway, for how it was handled, this kind of story, its puzzles, its themes, and everything. Yeah, I have to say, even though I haven't played it, I'll probably do in the near future. This may be my my favorite game in the series.
A lot of love and care went into this game, and it's in plain sight for everybody to see. Go ahead, Jova.
Well, okay, I'm gonna admit, I think I may actually like this game even more than Pedro, who's the Layton fan. I mean, I've said before.
I love this game.
But I know. But I'm saying it's like, well, I hate to say it, I think I may love it even more than you. Now, I'm not saying that you don't like it, but well, I think you can see where I'm coming from. It's like, well, I'd say like, well, this feels like, well, okay, not to say the crossover is completely bad, but this really feels like a crossover between Layton and Ace Attorney.
I can see. I can see what you mean with that. Don't worry, I can see what you mean.
But yeah, it's not just that. Gameplay-wise, I know I'm sort of cheating, but I'd say gameplay-wise, I have this tied with the crossover as my favorite for gameplay styles. Yeah, obviously. But yeah, the story is amazing. I said before that Lost Future is my favorite Layton game, and it still sort of just stands. But looking back to this game, I definitely say that this one is tied with it. Like, literally tied with it. With Ashen Legacy just behind them and tied with Pandora's Box. But that's out for Ashen Legacy. This game is amazing. The story is quite possibly the most unique that a Layton plot has been up to this point. Arguably, we'll see how you consider Ashen Legacy. But yeah, I love every single character. Every single twist that they pull is magnificently orchestrated. And, you know, when they do some stuff that you thought they wouldn't do because it's, you know, too silly or something, it's not like past Layton games where it does feel too silly ultimately, but the twists are actually executed in a way that makes you feel, you know, I'm okay with this. I am A-okay with this.
Yeah, like I said, the way Monte came to be is actually kind of plausible. It's not really...
It's a plot point that's been done technically before, but honestly, it's written so well that, well, it feels unique. And, you know, and it's definitely reasonable. It's like, well, that's another amazing thing.
I think the reason it feels unique is because it's used as a metaphor for Henry's devotion.
Also, ironically, there technically was some magic in this one. Granted, it's more of a magician's very expensive tricks, but nonetheless, they actually did allow some magic to occur in the game that's quite possibly the most grounded in reality.
Let's not forget, Jova, the thing that saved the day
right,
was,
right, never mind. The
altar
right.
was magical, technically. Or if you want to... Magic Atlantis-style science, or whatever.
Not to mention... Oh, yeah. And not to mention that special liquid in the last game.
Yeah. The thing is... Liquid. No, don't worry, Dwibs.
I'm not going to say it because Theo hasn't played it yet.
Another thing that I love... okay, are you done, Jova?
I'm not done, but go ahead and say what you need to.
Okay. One thing that I love about the prequel trilogy is how... I really love the overall continuity that they put in. Not to say that the original trilogy didn't have continuity, because it did, but this one, you can tell they're definitely... straight from the last Spectre, you could tell they're building up to Ashen Legacy. Like, let's just say... Go ahead.
Oh yeah, hey Pedro, you know what would be an interesting thing? If it turns out like, well, Level 5's new secret project that they're hyping up might be a whole remake of the original trilogy with more better story, you know, in the guise of the prequel trilogy.
Honestly, I would prefer an HD collection on the Wii U with the FMVs fully uncompressed. Now, that would be awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could do that sort of thing on the 3DS as well, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, that's what I'm imagining, though. Imagine if what their next project is like, you know, a whole HD remake, or at the very least, you know, a remake of the original trilogy done in the style of the prequel trilogy. Well, actually more so the style of Ashen Legacy, to be honest.
So yeah,
going back to my thoughts.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the gameplay. I love the variety of the gameplay here. It's like, well, yeah, okay. I know puzzle solving has been Layton's main thing, but you gotta admit, after 5 games, mainly just doing puzzle solving, no matter how special and unique the puzzles may get, does drag on a bit. So they add in a lot of new stuff. Horseback riding, Zelda dungeon crawling, a few mini games here and there. It's a nice and interactive.
It makes sense since this is the developer who made Dark Chronicle.
It's sort of a shame that they got rid of some of the stuff in Ezran Legacy, but I'll talk more about that in Ezran Legacy.
That was more so because of story reasons, I think. Anyway.
Wait, hold on. And yeah, the voice cast.
Oh.
Hands down the best so far of a Layton game.
Well, of course.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Past Layton games have had great casts, but this is when they started bringing in the heavy hitters like Liam O'Brien, Laura Bailey, and of course...
Actually, Jova, Liam O'Brien was not in this game. Liam O'Brien was in Lost Future
His
and
names
in...
were in the credits.
Oh, he was?
Didn't you notice his name in the credits?
Oh, okay. Who did he voice again?
Probably Tenenbaum.
Actually, Tenenbaum doesn't have any lines, not any spoken lines, not that I remember.
Okay. Let's
see. Liam O'Brien. Oh, let's see.
Who did he voice? Meanwhile, while Jova's looking, one thing. So one thing that I also like to bring up: how many kids? Okay, maybe not kids.
Oh, apparently he doesn't have any specific characters in Miracle.
Additional voices. And additional voices. All right then.
To be fair, they have him back in Last Spectre though as Cart Triton. But anyway,
you have to wonder how many.
Still Yuri Loyenfeld and Troy Baker, of course.
You have to wonder how many family-oriented franchises have we seen? Stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh and other stuff where they go for the friendship shit, and it's always cringy. But Level 5 pulled it off with grace and style.
Yeah. Nowadays, kid shows are managing to pull off friendship, like MLP Friendship is Magic, Transformers Prime. I mean, a lot of shows nowadays, well, okay, not a lot, mind you, but there are quite a few noteworthy ones even nowadays. But yeah, back then, even way back then when this game was released, those were more often than not cringeworthy, aside from the occasional genius. But yeah, Level 5 definitely was not quite a pioneer, I'd say, but they were definitely one who helped bring it back into the light of, well, the limelight, of course.
And they're still doing it with Yokai Watch. Anyway, was Miracle Mask.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'll continue with that. Miracle Mask was fantastic. The voice acting cast, though. Not only do I love the presence of the voice actors, but I love how they're all used in sort of... they're used in a very ambiguous, the good sort of ambiguous sort of way, shall we say.
Awesome.
Covered that, covered the writing.
The music?
Jinx.
Oh yeah! Music! Beautiful.
Nishihara always delivers. So
I'm not quite sure it's my favorite Layton track. That honor may go to Lost Future and
of course
have the crossover.
Oh yeah, no. If there's one thing of the crossover that I will always defend, it's its soundtrack. The soundtrack for the crossover is fucking brilliant. I love that soundtrack so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, for those who don't know, Tomohito Nishihara composed 2/3 of the soundtrack, and the Ace Attorney third of it was composed by a certain Capcom composer whose name I can never remember. It's kind of...
I think he was the newer Capcom composer at the time for Ace Attorney, and nowadays he's more affiliated with Shu Takumi and his projects. So
all right, I think we've already dragged this out long
basically,
enough.
Long story short, everything is awesome in this game.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
That fucking song.
Would you prefer Let It Go, Dwibs?
Let it go. Let it go.
Can I take both of them and slap them?
All right, everybody. So that was Professor Layton, the Miracle Mask. See you for the extras.
Yeah.